Damn, you guys really hate Joey Badass and do not care about his mental health.
So now Joey's coming out and saying that he's just not in a good space, and he wants to recover, move forward. So let's go ahead and pull up the video.
What happened with the tour? Are you still at odds with your label? Are you on a label? Like, talk about where you're at right now with your career.
This actually will be the first time that I spoke about it. I've thought about how to address this, right? And I'm just going to choose honesty. I'm going to choose raw honesty, despite the fact of people in my corner telling me not to be honest, make up something, this, that, the third. But my honest truth of why I canceled the tour is that my mental health was just not aligned with it. You know, I did not feel mentally fit enough to embark on this journey. And I got my 5-month-old son. We trying to figure out vaccinations and all this stuff. It's just such a critical time. My energy level was at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh, yeah, obviously the tour tickets didn't sell. Listen, I've been touring for a long time. Like, the tickets sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, this goes back to freedom. I had to choose me, and I'm really sincerely sorry about all of my fans that I've, disappointed and let down, who was excited in seeing me. Y'all money has been refunded. I seen that. I got that money back. So, but I know that y'all was really excited to see me, and I was excited to see y'all too, but I just did not have the bandwidth myself. I had to choose me. And it's funny because I really was just going to go through with it, despite me knowing that I was going to be suffering inside. And I happened to open up to one of my team members, and they really made me feel supported and was like, yo, listen, if this is what you want to do, like, we ain't about to push you to do this, you know what I'm saying? So I really do appreciate that. Like, it's not like there wasn't money on the table that I was walking away from, but I had to choose me. My mental health is important to me, and I just had to choose me. That's all I could say. That's the honest truth. You know what I mean? You know, they wanted me to tell you I booked the role. They wanted me to tell you that my dad wanted me to tell you that yo, tell him there's something wrong with me. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I ain't
don't speak.
you know what I'm saying? So the honest to God truth is that Joey I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I had to pull out. I had to choose me.
What up, word? It's your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I said in my last video about Joey Badass's Dark Aura tour being canceled. I did say quite a few reasons it could have been. It could have been low ticket sales, but I also said that it could be something health-wise. And I was like, you guys are going to feel real effed up if it's something with his health or his family's health or that baby's health that you were going to feel real effed up. But I don't think you guys feel any kind of way. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at a lot of the comments and the things that are being said. And for one, many of you don't believe his mental health excuse or reason. And two, many of you don't care. Like, I don't think mental health is the catch-all that it seems to be or needs to be. And I think beyond physical blood, right? Physical blood, or I got cancer or multiple sclerosis or something, you guys don't care about the mental health issue the way we should. We should take that serious. And I know we've had a couple wham moments where a couple of athletes and rappers and entertainers, I feel, pulled away from things with that excuse in mind. But we got to take it more serious as an actual medical reason, right? Until somebody's like Lil Nas X walking down the street in cowboy boots, half naked, and they get introduced into the psych ward, right? Like Martin Lawrence. We've had different entertainers and artists end up in facilities for mental health until they're there, and we still don't give them that respect. But I think we need to start looking at it when someone says, I'm protecting my mental health. That's not a real good excuse to hip hop. So we don't look at it in the way that we need to start taking it. I used to work in a mental health facility, right? I wasn't a mental health worker. That's a very hard job. You get attacked, you get stuff thrown at you, people bite you, people try to really harm you. So I wasn't a mental health worker. I worked in scheduling, right? But at the end of the day, I used to see a lot of the results of that. And I know a lot of people who have to going to day programs. I know people who have to go into the facility long term, and it's not a laughing matter. It's not fun. But a lot of times when people say I'm protecting my mental health before they end up in those facilities, we take it for a joke and we say, yeah, buddy, yeah, right. You're just soft, step up to the plate, do your job, right? And there's a thin line between being weak and actually having mental health issues. Now, for Joey, knowing with this scrutiny that he's going to receive with this mental health reason or excuse, depending on the word you put, you choose to transpose one word for the other. I don't know, but end of the day, a lot of you are really mean about this. You're really dismissive, and you still chalking it up to, yeah, right, he didn't have that energy when he was dissing Dot, or when he was throwing shade at these other rappers from the West Coast. And I get it. And it is, we do need to discuss that. I am going to discuss how we got to this mental health excuse or reason, right? But let's just stay right there on the, before we get to all the mean stuff you guys are saying, we're gonna discuss how Joey could be just using this. You know, this is the backboard to hit the bucket and just make the shot and be like, okay, that's a catch-all and everything's right with the world. Okay, I get that, but let's just stay on the fact that it's a tough ask to tell a rapper, a rough and tough rapper who just came off of one of the biggest moments of his entire rap career, this battle with Ray Vaughn and Daylyt and these other rappers that got involved with one of the most provocative moments of 2025. He just came off of that battle only to take too long to release his album and then to have the album not sell well, okay? And then to announce a tour and then to cancel the tour. So there's a lot going on with this that could lead to mental health issues. We understand that when you have this much going on and these many eyes on you and these many opinions, let's just be honest, there were a lot of YouTubers making a lot of opinions, and not to mention thousands more commenters in those comments. Joey had to see that. Joey had to have seen all of that vitriol and discourse about his moves that he was making this year. I'm sure he thought it was, I'm going to do this for hip hop. Blindly going into it on some hip hop where he didn't understand the rage that you incite when you talk about Kendrick. They're still trying to, they're going to be papers, they're going to be think pieces written about this in the coming years, how this thing turned from just a battle with Kendrick and Drake into a whole movement that was clearly, you need to pick a side. Ain't no middle, ain't no in between. And when Joey stepped on that line for what he thought was a hip-hop move, calling out Kendrick Lamar, he crossed a picking line that ain't no coming back from, because he got a lot of support from Drake fans, which incensed Kendrick fans to a degree you won't see for many years to come, because they really have a lot of vitriol. There were a lot of people completely upset with Joey, who in a naive way might have thought he was just doing a hip-hop thing, throwing down a gauntlet, a challenge. He might have been like, this is just hip-hop. Joey, you stepped in it at a time. Hip-hop is not like it was, gang. Right now, it's clicked up, it's clubbed up, and it's very divisive. So they're not taking hip-hop challenges lightly. This is an affront to all of Kendrick, what he stands for, when you call him out. So when you did that, you caught a lot of bad heat. And that had to have affected his mental health, because people were relentless on Joey. They were, even before the album sold 9,000 units, they were on Joey's ass. And I know that played a role, because then he tried to say his label was holding him back from dropping the album. Then when he dropped it, people weren't receptive, and they weren't giving it they weren't receptive to listen to it. And the people that did were calling it mid. That's a lot going on when you just had this huge battle. You just came off Power. You played Unique, and that's draining, gang. Let's just be honest. That character is a draining character. Your brother Ronnie tried to kill you and throw you in a ditch, right? So he had a lot going on in his personal health. You got a newborn baby, gang. Babies don't let you sleep, right? You and your wife is like nudging each other to go get up and get that baby. Yo, listen, there's a lot going on. Then you're trying to think of rhymes, you're trying to fight Daylyt and all these other. It's a lot going on. So, not to make any excuses, I'm just telling you that mental health stuff is real. And just like I was watching Jay Nolan and other people, but for the most part, Jay Nolan hit it right on the head. Even with this YouTube stuff, sometimes you're not ready. You're not ready. I know y'all want 4 or 5 videos a day just to entertain you. It is hard to do this, gang. It's not sweet. So mental health is a real situation for everybody, even the people that ain't rapping, even the people who ain't involved with the battles. And some of us that just even talk about this and to provide entertainment is draining. So when someone says mental health, when you're in the public eye, you can see why. You got people all in your comments talking crazy to you every single day. You can do a video about anything and somebody's gonna get in the comments, I'm disappointed in you, I don't like this, I can't support your channel. It's crazy. So I understand that people that do this public service, for lack of a better word, this when you're in the public eye, it's draining. So you'll have a better understanding when someone says my mental health, I need to protect it. All of us get attacked. So he's getting attacked on a higher level than most of us that we can even dream of. And again, I'm not making excuses, but you do need to start looking at when someone says, I'm protecting my mental health. Our first instinct is to call him weak. Our first instinct is to say it's some bullshit, right? He knows those tickets weren't selling. I see the comments. You guys are brutal, gang. You have no, and like I said, you guys are gonna feel a way when it comes out that this was a health issue. You guys don't feel no way. You don't care. You absolutely are saying that it's all bullshit and lies, and you have no sympathy, even if it is his mental health, because you're basically saying, boo-hoo, Joey. Boo-hoo. We don't care. So I'm gonna say now, to play devil's advocate and flip that coin, Joey may have given himself the mental health issue because he did jump out there and incite a battle. Let's go all the way back to January. I was in Atlantic City, and out of nowhere, Joey Badass is trending because he got a mink coat on. He's up in the, I don't know if he's in the Poconos or wherever the hell he's at, and he's talking about too much West Coast dick licking. Why, Joey? We know it's a Jay-Z bar. We know that. Any hip-hop head knows it was a play on words from the Jay-Z song on Reasonable Doubt, right? The album, right? And we get it, but that thing is 30 years old, right? It's not going to play well now when Kendrick is on top. He just told everybody, you guys hate the West Coast. We know it. We know you guys hate the West Coast. So then for you to come out and accuse the fans, because that's who you're talking about, you accuse the fans of West Coast dick licking, means that they're on Kendrick's dick, and we get that point. So right there, you just called out a whole bunch of people who may have already loved Kendrick or just got a newfound love of Kendrick. Either way, you're calling out millions of fans over everywhere. Chile, wherever. Brazil, they're everywhere. So at that point, you triggered a fan base. And it did not go well because at that point, they started calling for your head. And they started to come out wishing you ill will. And guess what that triggers? Anything the K-bots do going to trigger the Drake stands, the bubble bath rapper stands, and they're going to perk their ears up and be like, what's going on over there? Oh, the K-bots don't like somebody. Who they don't like? Shit, if they don't like them, we love them. Who is it? Joey Badass? Never heard of him, but fuck it. Let's get behind him. Full on attack. They started pushing Joey Badass, saying, Kendrick got to respond. Joey didn't expect this. He didn't plan for this, but he's like, let's go with it. We're going to do a freestyle on the Red Bull Cypher, and I get to pick the rappers. Well, shit, I'm going to pick somebody from the West Coast. I'm going to pick AbSoul, and I'm going to pick a neutral party from Chicago. I'm going to get Big Sean, and we're going to do this rap, and I'm going to go in. And he said the AbSoul told him, let's kind of play into it and kind of go at each other. He's like, you know what? You're a genius, Ab, let's go. So they started to play into the battle, and they started to take little shots and little this, that, and the third, and it worked. The Red Bull Cypher went viral, and all of us were triggered. I wasn't triggered. I said it was a good-ass fucking rap. I thought the shit was genius. I said, this beat is hard as fuck, and I love this. I love the energy that they're giving. But a lot of people not into energy. They're not into hip-hop like that. All they remember is you said too much West Coast dickling. They remember all the swipe, the little jabs at Kendrick. Joey's, I'm not going to say he's innocent with this because he knew what he was doing, right? But when you peel back the layers, just like we said the Control verse was just for hip-hop, well, let's keep it honest. This was the exact same thing as the Control verse. He just called out one person instead of 15, right? So, end of the day, it was the same energy as the Control verse. But we're not in the Control times. When we was giving, everybody loves Kendrick. So we were giving Kendrick a hell of a pass when he dropped that Control verse. We didn't do that for Joey. Wasn't no grace for Joey. It was like, F you, Joey. Why you swinging that K? He didn't bother nobody, right? At this point, we all know Kendrick could defend himself. I don't know why people got so offended and so mad. And they was trying to jump in front of the fight. Yo, it's like, you're not going to touch. We had lunch about to fight. Two guys about to fight each other. And one of the guys really not even listening to the other guy. And the other guy's like, yo, fight me, bro. And the whole lunchroom jumped up to fight the guy before the little guy could defend himself. We know Kendrick not out here scary. We know he not some guy that don't know how to rap or defend himself. He could have easily defended himself. Would have tore Joey ass up with 2 bars, right? But fans don't care about that. They got to jump in front of the bullet and defend him. It got really hairy. So then when it came time for Joey to actually drop the album, Kendrick fans was like, absolutely not. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm listening to that shit. I'm not giving you one goddamn stream. And the Drake fans didn't know who he was in the first place. They didn't know the album dropped. So they damn sure didn't listen to it. They that kind of music anyway. Right? Joey shot himself in the foot, called it a dark aura. And it did, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to hear that right now in 2025. But the album was not a bad album. It suffered from track listing, the way he ordered it, or you know, the order of it, and some songs need to be removed. It would have been a solid. It would have portrayed the dark aura he was going for. I guess even naming it that, it means he was already in a bad space before he even dropped any music. If you got an album, if you're working on an album called Dark Aura, something already going on, gang. So Joey already was going through something mentally before he even dropped the album or made the tour. And you call the tour Dark Aura, that's ain't nothing good coming from that. Let's just be honest. But the album was called Dark Aura. It didn't do well as far as sales, but like I keep saying, he could have went on tour and pushed those sales and got that thing up to 100K. He would have went on tour. The physicals would have went up. It was only like 2 weeks before the tour was supposed to start. Rhapsody and AbSoul was on tour with him, which is a good look for hip hop heads. They would have got bodies in the building. I said that on my other video. The first show I went and looked in Boston. It was a 3,500 seat venue. They only had 53 tickets left. That means the show was sold out. It would have been packed. And that has to go ahead and assume that all the other shows would have had tickets in there. They would have had bodies in there. Maybe the different venues weren't selling at the time. But as the show would have went on and the videos would have went up and people would have been checking for Rhapsody, I believe it would have done his tickets numbers, because this guy been touring for years. He's never had a problem putting people in the building. So as a guy who does promotion, I've been doing promotion for 15 years. I've done a lot of shows. I know for a fact, even when Joel Santana, even when the Locks didn't have nothing new, their names, you could just say they're coming. The city gonna come out. So I really have a problem with saying it wasn't gonna sell no tickets. That's for people who don't understand the game, right? I know that somebody like a Joey Badass could do a run and people gonna come out. I've seen it for many people that have no music out. So I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. Now, let's just play devil's advocate. What if the tickets were slow? He's already suffering from this album not popping like he thought. Nothing's trending off of it. The features ain't even trending. So it's really not a good look for him. That's messing with his mental health. It's a decline. You got the fans coming at him all kind of ways. You got the album not doing well. The tour selling slow, and he got this role. He proclaimed himself. He's going to be playing some legacy act. That's in the back of his mind. He can't mess this up. He gotta learn this script. He said they were going into pre-production. I think he said in March, some crazy shit like that. Tour wasn't going to end until February. So he had a lot of stuff on his plate. End of the day, you got a new baby. You got your wife. You and your wife, I think they just got married earlier this year or last year. So it wasn't that long ago. Let's say that. So all of this stuff is what you're trying to do. You're trying to be a husband. You're trying to be a father. And you're trying to be a rapper and an actor. Maybe you do need a break, right? They tell other people take a break. Kendrick said he took a break. I chose me, right? So we have no problem with Kendrick doing it. We gave Kendrick 5 years, right, to come back with an album. So we give grace to who we want to give grace to, and we give shit to the people we want to give shit to, right? So where we at with this Joey Badass, yes, he could easily have caused all this himself with that one line, too much West Coast dick licking. He could have caused all these problems for himself. And by him admittedly being on social media to read and see these comments, to read and see these YouTubers, maybe like me, maybe he watched my shit, and I wasn't mean to the guy, but I play both sides of the fence, and I told both sides of the story, right? So end of the day, maybe all of that shit contributed to him. Like when that shit swirling around in your head and you're trying to figure it out, and you really want people to know that you meant no ill will to Kendrick, because I pulled up video I got another video of Joey praising Kendrick. I did a video on that where he did when Kendrick, they were younger, and he was like, yo, Kendrick is the GOAT. He basically was praised. There's a whole video on it that I did that he was praising Kendrick in the midst of this so-called battle where he was edging to get Kendrick out. I'm sure him and Kendrick had some words behind the scenes because they had to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Because he's cool with everybody else in that whole camp, right? And I believe he went and did shows with them. So he had to know, like, listen, Dot, this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to restore the feeling back to the East Coast because the East Coast, let's just be honest, they're not winning right now. We on this side of the town, it's not that many things coming out, right? Biggest thing on the East Coast was the clips. And until Mobb Deep came, Mobb Deep just dropped. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a lot of shine on the East Coast. Let's just be honest. Wasn't a lot of shine on New York. Whole lot of drill shit coming out. Nothing else. Let's just be honest. So he probably was like, let me restore the feeling with this. I'm going to use that name, but I'm going to try to restore the feeling after they get past I used his name. Well, it didn't work out like that because ain't no getting past that. People still in the comments right now. Every time he appears to fail, they come in the comments. You shouldn't have went at Dot. So it didn't work out. He didn't understand where he was going when he did that. So all of that probably kicked in and brought him down, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Some stuff just brings you down. And he couldn't go on that stage, whether the room was packed or not, and sit there and give the best performance, knowing that some of them people in the crowd didn't like how this rolled out this summer. Some of them people in that crowd, they may come see you, but they looking at you sideways because they want to see. Some of them people out there to report bad things. Some of them people in that thing to say the show sucked. So he knows in the back of his mind, everybody ain't in here for me to win, right? And he knows in the back of his mind, it's going to go out. They're going to be scanning the room, looking for an empty room. So it's going to be a whole thing where he's going to be fighting mad fights when he goes on his tour. He might hit one of them cities that didn't do too well, right? It might be 50 people in that bitch, and that's going to be real bad on social media because they already at them. So all of that's messing with his mental health, and I'm going to be honest, all of that is self-inflicted. So nobody would have cared, but now they do. Now they're going to be looking for you to flop, looking for you to fail. So all of that's in the back of his mind, and he called off the tour. I really think that it was a bad look for Rhapsody to miss out on a tour. That kind of exposure she still needs. Believe it or not, Rhapsody been in this shit about 5-6 years, and she's more than that, but she needs that exposure. I told you she would have got a good size check, even if she was only getting $5K a show. After that, the tour was a long tour. She would have walked away with about $100,000 or more. So I feel like canceling the tour, maybe for yourself is one thing, but you really hurt AbSoul. You really hurt Rhapsody. They were going to walk away with a nice check that would have been very good for them. It would have been very good for their brand. That's my only problem with it. I mean, Joey Bada's going on tour or not wouldn't really make no difference to me personally, but I think that hurt those artists that were going to benefit greatly from being in a room of 3,000 people in every city or whatever, right? I think they would have benefited greatly. Other than that, he has the right to do anything he wants. He could cancel the tour, But you kicked up such dust, Joey. I got to be honest with you. You kicked up so much dust. To cancel a tour is even worse. You kicked up a lot of dust. You sparked Kendrick's name, who's on a world tour, one of the biggest tours he's ever done. He's done some massive tours. He's on a world tour right now that he didn't call out. He's not saying, I can't do the shows. Sometimes he's pushing through, and that's where the mental health issue comes, when sometimes people are like, push through. A lot of people are like, listen, I can't not show up to work tomorrow. I got to be at work. I can't call out for mental health. Not in this climate where they're firing people left and right. Government shut down. Some people like, I can't call out, Joey. So you're calling out saying mental health, but the rest of us don't have that option. That's why they're not having the sympathy for you. So what I'm saying is, and I'm going to wrap it up, we got to decide if we believe this mental health stuff or not, right? I can't remember the tennis girl. She said mental health. The gymnastic girl, she said mental health. A basketball player straight up was like, I can't play, mental health. So we got to decide if we are going to say that this is a valid reason or it's bullshit and get back to work. Let me know what you think, man. I'm about to check out, man. Listen, I'm not making no excuses for Joey Bada. I know a lot of you in the comments, they're going to be in these comments. You caping for bad. Like you can't say nothing good about nobody that says something bad about Kendrick. I'm just be honest. And it's not about that I'm saying anything good or bad or different about him. But what I'm saying is just understand that sometimes it really is deeper than you think it is. And sometimes people mental health really, really be in a bad space. And you don't believe these guys till they put a gun to their head or something, do something crazy. And then you're like, oh, wow, maybe it was serious. And some of you still don't care. But at that point, you got to check yourself, right? Some of you that's dismissive of other people's mental health, you got to check yourself. And I'm going to leave it at that. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. They ship all over the continental U.S. Let them know who sent you. Every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show. Me, TJ, and Fliz, we will be discussing this. And my new Patreon account is about to go live this week, so I'm going to give y'all the information and we can tap in. All right, I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.